Welcome to the PR Maven Podcast, a podcast all about growing your network and building your brand through traditional and digital networking techniques. I'm Nancy Marshall, the PR Maven and CEO of Marshall Communications. I've been strengthening brands through PR for over 35 years, and now I'm celebrating the success of executives, influencers, business owners, and entrepreneurs from all around the world, all of whom have cultivated their brands and broadened their networks through traditional and digital networking methods. Each week, I interview one of these interesting and influential individuals and provide an opportunity for you, the PR Maven Nation, to gain insights from their strategies and stories. So stay tuned for this week's episode, and thanks for listening. Hello, PR Maven Nation. This is the PR Maven Podcast, episode number 172, presented by Marshall Communications, creator of the Marshall Plan 65-step strategic process. For those of you new to the show, I'm your host, Nancy Marshall, the PR Maven and CEO of Marshall Communications. And with me today, I'm very excited to have Tim Winkeler, who's president and CEO of VIP Tires and Service. Welcome to the PR Maven Podcast, Tim.
Thanks, Nancy. Thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
Well, I'm awfully glad to have you because you and I have known each other, well, for a few years now, and I think we both have a lot of enthusiasm for what we do. So I'm really excited about it.
Very interesting circumstances we met around.
Yeah, we can get into that during the podcast if you want. I wasn't sure if you wanted to talk about it, but we can talk about it.
Let's do it.
Okay. Yeah. So Tim is an accomplished, people-focused leader with a track record of building high-performance teams that exceed expectations, always focused on customer needs and feedback, and I know this from personal experience, and then building core competencies around making money by serving customers in different and better ways. Tim thrives in helping organizations succeed through strategy development and execution, relentlessly pursuing continuous improvement while helping each member of the team reach his or her personal best. Tim is a teacher at heart, and he learns every day by reading great books and meeting great people. And I can vouch for that. We'll get into the story of how we met. But Tim, you're currently president and CEO of VIP Tires and Service. What did you do prior to getting this position?
Yeah, so I've been president and CEO for about 4 years here at VIP, and I've been with VIP about 12 years. So prior to this, I was a vice president over marketing and merchandising for VIP. And prior to that, I spent about 20 years in the auto parts world, where I was with companies that manufactured and sold auto parts, and actually VIP was a customer of my former company. I was the vice president of sales, and I had visited VIP. I had visited Maine, and because VIP was a customer, and got to know the owner here. And one day he called me 12 years ago and had this crazy idea that I moved from Oklahoma to Maine and come join the VIP team. And so I've been here 12 years now, and president and CEO the last 4 years. And it's been a blast. We love it up here.
Well, I just love your excitement and enthusiasm for the company and for your work and your customers and your employees. So I could tell why you were recruited to come to Maine and run this company.
It's funny you use that term when, we've done some 360 reviews in the company, and the word most often that people who are on the team use for me is enthusiastic.
Yeah, well, I actually have a little Post-it next to my desk with 3 E's that I try to be: energetic, enthusiastic, and excited. And I try to bring that every day to my work. And,
yeah, that's
and
awesome.
I think you do that too.
Yeah, no, that's if we're not having fun, then what are we here for?
That's right, exactly. Because We spend a lot of time at work, some of us more than others, right?
Right.
So it might as well be fun. So tell us about the company. What does it do? How many stores do you have? And where are you located?
Sure. VIP Tires and Service, and our headquarters are here in Auburn, Maine. A lot of people don't know that. A lot of people think because we have so many locations that we're some big nationwide chain. We have 65 locations that are all in northern New England. So we have 35 stores in Maine, 20 in New Hampshire. We have 6 in Massachusetts and 4 in Vermont. And our great teams, our great people do full automotive service every day. So we're in the tire business, and we're also in the full automotive repair and maintenance business. So for anyone out there driving a vehicle, that's what our people do every day, is take care of them and help them keep their cars running in great shape, and hopefully put great tires on their cars. And especially this time of year, I heard we got a big snowstorm coming in this weekend, and most of our customers driving cars with winter tires, snow tires. Our goal is to help them keep themselves safe out driving around these New England roads.
Yeah, well, it is important. I've always had snow tires in the winter, and I know some people are like, you don't need those, you can have all seasons. Like, no, I have felt and seen the difference with my own vehicle, and I drive in a lot of crazy conditions. So I know that it's really good to get snow tires. We might as well tell the story now because that's actually how we know each other.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
So I think it was 2 years ago that, my son Jamie, who was at the time 24, he was driving around with all-weather tires, and, I think they might have been slightly bald. So, being, a mom who cares about her son's safety, I decided to get him a gift card for Christmas, so he could get 4 snow tires. So, I went to, I think, 2, maybe even 3 of your stores, and none of your people were able to generate a gift card.
Yep.
And I got so frustrated because it was Christmas season, and I was short on time, I was frazzled, and, yeah, so and I was like, "Here, I want to spend money."
Right.
Like, I like, wanting to give you guys money and that you couldn't. So,
Yep.
I think I did a rant on Facebook.
I forget whether it was Facebook or Google, or it might have even been through our website, because we have a centralized customer service portal that any feedback we get, whether it's a Google review, Yelp, Facebook, or through our website, we have email blasts. Basically, I mean, every day, many of us see dozens and dozens of emails about customer feedback, and many of them are positive. And as I recall, it might have even been a weekend, and I was sitting at home and I checked my phone and I see this customer report come through from somebody whose email was like PR Maven. And, when I saw PR Maven and I realized that we just appointed a customer, I'm like, oh, I mean, I get involved in a handful of them. Our team does a great job of taking care of our customers and addressing those when we fall short a little bit. But this is one where, if I recall, I reached out directly. I think you had put your number in there, and I called you. And it's no excuse, but of of all of our business that we do in our space, gift cards just aren't that big of a deal, and we should be better at them. And most of our stores can do them, but we had also just changed computer systems. There's all kinds of excuses I can think of, but we did not. We weren't able to deliver for you when you needed to get your son a gift card. And so, as I recall, I ended up getting a $500 gift card and driving up to Augusta and meeting you in your office. And we ended up talking for like 3 hours, because we're both so passionate about our businesses, and I hated the fact that we disappointed you, but it turned out to be pretty cool moment to get to know each other.
Yeah, we really had a great conversation. I think we both have German heritage, so I think
Yep.
we ended up talking about how our ancestors are all German. And yeah, we did have a great conversation. We talked a lot about business and business development and sales and marketing.
Yep.
And now we're working together through the Trek Across Maine, which we'll talk about in a bit. But I really appreciated that. I mean, talk about like You really amazed me. The fact that the president and CEO of this company came to my office, like in person, hat in hand, and then took the time to sit and just chat with me. I was like blown away by that. And believe me, I always remembered you and I remember the company for that. And then actually, we saw each other at a main biz event recently.
Yep.
And we chatted, and I'm glad we did because that's why you're here today. And that's why we're doing some other things together as well. So that kind of goes back to my whole talk about relationship building, because I do talk about the importance of having relationships, and sometimes you never really know where the relationships will go. But you created goodwill, and goodwill is priceless to have, in your company's bank account, so to speak. So you took a lemon and made lemonade for sure.
Well, and I joke about the fact that I saw your email with PR Maven on it, but quite frankly, there's dozens of times when I do that, and occasionally that's just if I see something where a customer has been disappointed, and there's something unique about the situation, or maybe I feel like it's something that I might be able to provide benefit for. I don't hesitate to get involved and talk with the customer. So it's not like I'm doing it every day or even every week, but occasionally I love to engage with our customers, and there's always such an interesting story behind it. And I've created a lot of I think lifetime customers because of that. Because once I'm also able to get involved and hear a customer's journey, or what it was that caused us maybe to not be at our best, it gives us an opportunity to improve. And sometimes it might be that our teams don't have all the resources they need, or maybe we need a better process. So I learn every time I engage with customers. So that's all part of it, and that's part of our culture, is always learning, always trying to be better.
Well, that constant feedback loop is facilitated greatly by social media. I think, if we were not in the era of the internet, and people had to fill out a customer comment card or write a letter, I don't know if I would have done that. So,
Right.
I think that some people say that social media is bad, but I think in some ways there's a lot of positives to it.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't remember if it was on Facebook or on your website, but it would be interesting I don't have that, the letter that I wrote, but
Oh, I've got a
I
copy
know
of
I was
it. I've
frustrated.
got a copy of it. I'll dig it up and send it back out to you. So.
Okay, all right, good. Yeah, we can put it in the show notes. Of course, my son Jamie, when he heard the story, he's like he expected more Christmas gifts because he realized that I didn't pay for those tires. So he figured out how to capitalize on that as well. So, what do you do exactly to keep your fingers on the pulse of the operation? Do you do like what they call management by walking around or visiting
No,
the
I
stores?
I definitely do some of that. We've got our support center here. We call it the Store Support Center here in Auburn, Maine, and we've got about 50 people here at the headquarters, and I do a lot of walking around just to find out, what's going on in our marketing or IT department or purchasing and accounting and all that. And then, a couple days a week, I get out into stores. We have a lot of events where we bring our people together. Tomorrow, in fact, we're having what we call our annual Master Technician Summit, where we bring our 85 master technicians who are throughout the region all together, obviously socially distanced and masked and everything in today's environment. But we'll bring them together for a big day of training and networking and all that. So we hold quite a few events like that throughout the year that give me the ability to have some time to get to know our people outside of just going into stores, and which I do plenty of. I mean, Black Friday is another kind of fun day for me. I spend the whole day, I fill up my truck with Mountain Dew, and I spend the whole day delivering caffeine to our team, because it's our busiest day of the year. We start at 5 a.m. and go late. And so at 5 a.m. I'm out in the store delivering a case of Mountain Dew and giving everybody a pat on the back and thanking them for being there so early to take care of our customers. So I do everything I can, among all the other responsibilities, to stay in touch with our teams and our customers as well. But I tell you, the biggest key is staying in touch with our people, our managers, and our team members, because when you're in the service business like we are, there's no substitute for those relationships and for our leaders and our teams to really feel like we've got their back. And I've always felt like within our culture, if our people feel like we have their back, if they really enjoy their job and they enjoy coming to work, then that's going to pay off in spades in how they take care of our customers.
Absolutely. If they know that you care about them and that you take the time to visit with them and spend time and listen,
Yep,
that makes all the difference.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, in your position, do you get involved with the marketing, advertising, and public relations? I know that recently you did something really exciting. So, why don't you tell us about that?
Yeah. Actually, with a little bit of a marketing background, I do get involved, and more recently, we've started doing a lot more of the PR type of work and telling our brand story out there. I've been on several podcasts within our industry with people asking about different things we're doing. We do an annual employee survey. We meet with all of our employees every year, and then most recently, just a month or two ago. Our company got featured on this new TV show called Competitive Edge, which is hosted by Montel Williams. And it was the premiere episode of this new TV series. And so I flew down to Florida, met with all of Montel's team down there, and sat in the green room and got makeup and all that kind of stuff, and then got to join him and his co-host out on the set, and spent about 5 minutes really just talking about the VIP story. He asked a lot of great questions, wanting to know more about the company and what our competitive edge is. And so it gave me the ability to really talk about two of our values as a company that we really focus on, and that is trust and transparency. We have windows in all of our shops so that customers can see right into the shop. We invite our customers out to the shop to meet our technicians. And even on the employee side, that survey I talked about, we try to be as transparent as possible. And we've always believed that by building transparency and showing transparency, that's what builds trust. And for us in the service business, that's the key to success is having that trust both within our employees as well as with our customers. So it was a ton of fun getting to know Montel and being down there, but more importantly, just hopefully, getting our brand story out there in more ways than we have in the past.
Well, I know that you feel totally comfortable in front of the camera. I mean, we're videoing this conversation right now, and we'll talk about the video you and I made last week. So, I mean, that definitely helps that you don't have any stage fright.
Yeah, I don't know when that happened. I wasn't even in drama in high school or anything like that. But at the end of the day, if you get me talking about something that I'm passionate about, especially the company and those kind of things, I could go on for days, and I never really feel nervous about it because I don't really feel like I have anything to be nervous about. So it's fun talking about this kind of stuff.
Well, I think you should go on that show, Undercover Boss. You heard of that?
I've heard of it. I'm afraid all of our employees know who I am. How am I going to pull that off?
Yeah, that's true.
I'd have to put on like an Italian mustache and my hair blacked out, and maybe some shades or a hoodie. I don't know how I'd pull that off. But
Yeah, right.
That would be pretty funny.
Yeah, that would.
Yeah.
But that is a problem, I guess, that all your employees know you too well. So what would you say differentiates VIP from its competitors in the market?
It's a couple things. One is just we relentlessly invest in our people. And I think that is the key and the cornerstone to our success. Many years ago when we first started doing these annual employee meetings and surveys, I love telling the story how in our industry, ASE certifications, having the certified automotive repair, automotive technician is a big deal. And many years ago, we had very few certified technicians. And when we asked these technicians why they didn't have certifications, there were all these barriers. It was expensive to get certified. They didn't have the study guides. It was a pain to go take the test. If they failed, the company wouldn't reimburse them. We only reimbursed if they passed the certification, which is how most companies in our industry operate. This was 9 years ago. And after that meeting, we decided, you know what, we're going to tear down every barrier. We're going to pay for everything up front. We're going to give everybody study guides. We're going to pay pass or fail. And we just want people to take that risk, go out and try to learn and improve yourself, build a career in this industry and get these certifications. And so investing, that's turned into lots of training programs. Our training budget is about quadrupled in the last few years because we just find more and more ways to provide our people with ways to get better at what they do and improve themselves. So investing in our people is really the cornerstone of it. And then from there, we've built a lot of processes. We have, if you come into our stores, we have a pretty disciplined customer engagement process. We call it going 5 for 5. And there's a lot of internal marketing around that about what those 5 key touch points are. But those are the kind of things that we've built the company around so that we just stay focused on that. And because we're focused on it, our people embrace it and we're able to execute it pretty well.
Well, I'm sure the fact that you are willing to invest in all of that training helps with employee retention, which is so vital right now. I mean, with so many businesses being understaffed, have you had a problem with that, being understaffed?
That's a great point. I mean, right now we are understaffed. Some of that due to just COVID quarantines and things like that. But we've grown our business so much. When everybody else, when COVID first happened and many other shops were doing layoffs and furloughs and cutting hours, we actually did the opposite. We actually kept everybody whole, never cut anyone's paycheck, not one penny, and kept them fully scheduled for their full hours every week. And we used it as a recruiting tool. We went out and recruited a lot of people, a lot of really talented individuals whose former employers maybe didn't treat them as well. So we grew the business quite a bit during COVID. And of course, people started driving again, and that's really paid off for us. But, our turnover, the number of employees we lose continues every year to get lower and lower. That's been a strategic initiative of ours, is to improve compensation, benefits, work environment, culture, leadership, all the things that employees really want to work and have a career and have a place that they enjoy working. And that's another reason that we just we invest in that area, and that's paid off with having much better employee retention over the years.
Yeah, well, that's really smart. I mean, we've talked a little bit about personal branding, but that's what I call employer branding. And I think you probably have a very strong employer brand because of that.
Well, and Nancy, what's interesting is the brand of VIP has really done a 180 from 15, 20 years ago. Our current owner has owned it for right about 20 years. But prior to that, the business was really built around low price and, cheap. And employees weren't paid very well. There was no training program. The company did well and they grew. They had 40 something locations when the current owner bought it 20 years ago, but it was really done in a very different business model. It wasn't a professional business model. It was opportunity buys and they churned through people pretty bad. And so this has been an absolute transformation of the business from something that, years ago we would meet with a technician. And if we said we were with VIP, they'd say, I'm never going to work for VIP. I mean, the reputation of the company 20 years ago was just night and day from what it is today. And we have many technicians who tell us those stories that I can't believe, now I'm working for VIP and, I'm loving it. I would have never guessed 15 years ago that I'd be working for VIP because of such a transformation the business has made.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. And I hope that they'll all listen to the podcast too, because it's great that it's great you're speaking so highly of them. So we're going to take a short break and we're going to be back with more from Tim Winkeler. But I just wanted to remind you about my latest book, which is called Grow Your Audience, Grow Your Brand. If you go to prmaven.com/giveaway and download your free copy, Tim, you might be getting one in the mail actually. So
cool. I love a good book.
You don't need to download the copy online. You can just wait for a surprise gift. It won't be so much of a surprise anymore, but we'll be back in just a moment with more from Tim.
I'm a prolific listener and reader of things that really relate to innovation, entrepreneurship, and marketing. And when I happened on to Nancy's podcast, I literally was blown away. I listen to things nationally, people that are really acclaimed for what they do. And my personal opinion is that Nancy's got one of the best podcasts going at the moment, but also I think over time. I've gone back and really re-listened to many of those that are in the archives, and they are fantastic. And I would put her up against any other podcaster. It's a light, very flowing interview style. I know that just by listening that the people on the other end are extremely comforting, and she's not trying to one-up on the other person. They're both experts on that podcast, but I really like the fact that Nancy's trying to also learn something every time she interviews. And that comes really, I think, through to me when I'm listening to that as well. And I always learn something.
Welcome back to the podcast, and we're here with Tim Winkeler from VIP Tires and Service. And the podcast is available on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. We're actually streaming live right now, Tim.
Awesome.
So, Tim, you and your team made the big decision to become the presenting sponsor for the Trek Across Maine 2022. Why did you make that decision?
Because I wanted to get on camera with you, right? So we can
I'm so glad.
record the video to kick it off. No, we, at VIP, it's, healthy living and getting outdoors. Obviously, being a company headquartered in Maine, that's a big deal for us. So many of our customers use their cars to get, outdoors and get up to the mountains or out to the woods. We've got such great, state parks and outdoor areas that Trek Across Maine and what the American Lung Association does really just fits in with how we like to promote the brand. And we're looking for more creative ways to get VIP's name out in front of, especially the state of Maine, because like I said earlier, so many people think that we're this big national corporation and we're really a family-owned business here in the state of Maine. So what better way to do that than to be the presenting sponsor of such a great event here in the state of Maine?
Well, I was delighted because, of course, in full transparency, we're working with the Trek Across Maine, and I actually have ridden in it 7 times myself. And Tim, you've decided that you're going to ride it yourself this year too.
I have, yeah. I've never done a cycling event. In fact, it's been a few years since I've even gotten on my bike. But, when we recorded our video, I brought my bike in there to Cyclemania in Portland, and they're tuning it up for me. They're going to get it refitted for me because, I'm an amateur at best at cycling. But I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to preparing for it. And I'm a road runner. I like to do long distance runs. And so I'm looking forward to adding cycling to my repertoire.
Well, I was so glad. Again, you were so enthusiastic about it. And I look forward to seeing you out there. I'm not sure I'll be able to keep up with you. I have a feeling you'll be way out front.
I don't know. We'll see. I'm not gonna make any commitments. I have no idea how this is gonna go. I'm just trusting you when you tell me I can finish. So
Yeah, I'm sure you can. It is 60 miles a day for 3 days, June 19th or 17th through the 19th of 2022, Father's Day weekend.
yeah,
And it's pretty hilly. There are some pretty long hills. But if you get uphill, then you get to go down the other side.
that's right. That's right.
So how does a sponsorship like the Trek Across Maine fit into your overall marketing plan?
Our overall marketing plan, we reserve plenty of space for targeted sponsorships and things that we feel like really align well with the brand and the professionalism and just lifestyle, if you will. If you go into our stores today, we're doing a whole renovation of many of our interiors, and most of the imagery and things you're going to see are kind of lifestyle images. We're not really doing the traditional company messaging or anything like that. It's really more about the lifestyle that our customers want to live. And their car is a big part of that. Their car allows them to get out and do things. And so the freedom that a car provides to people is something that I feel like, the Trek Across America and what American Lung Association does is tries to get people to think about these things and to be healthier, get outdoors, clean air and those kind of things. So to me, it's a really good fit with the kind of sponsorships we're looking to do with the brand.
Well, it's such a good point. I had to take my 88-year-old mother to the doctor this morning, and she used to love driving, and she always used to want to drive an 18-wheeler truck, actually. But she did have a big Chevy Blazer, not one of the small ones, but like one of the big ones with 4 on the floor, and that's what I learned to drive in when I
Oh,
took.
nice.
She taught me driver's ed because I was too busy with school activities to do the regular driver's ed. So my mom taught me to drive with this big stick. And actually, when I went to take my driver's license test, the man who was supposed to test me was kind of a small man. And he had a hard time getting up into the vehicle.
I think he probably passed as soon as he saw what you pulled up in. He's like, if she can get that truck here, he's good with any vehicle.
He said that when he finally got into the passenger seat, he said, any 16-year-old girl who dares to take her test in a Chevy Blazer like this with 4 on the floor, I think you just need to go around the block and show me.
I love that story. That's awesome.
Yeah. So anyway, that was my mom's vehicle, and unfortunately, she can't drive anymore. And today, we were going on 295 to go to the doctor, and she goes, I miss driving. I just miss the freedom of driving and independence.
Yeah. No, it's, you spend time with our customers and our employees, and there's something about having a car, being able to get into a car. And then of course, with a lot of our guys, they trick them out and they're adding power and doing all kinds of fun stuff to their cars or adding big tires and wheels to them. So, a lot of people, it's an extension of their own personal brand or their own personal personality, if you will.
Yeah. Well, not to dwell on my son Jamie too much, but he's a jet pilot now. Of course, he flies jets. This weekend he flew Catherine Zeta-Jones and Michael. What's I'm blanking on his last name, but he flies movie stars around the country. But he also has an old Jeep Wrangler, like a real old Jeep Wrangler. Again, that has a stick too.
Yeah.
It stalls all the time, but it's a lifestyle.
But he loves it. Yeah.
Oh, Michael Douglas. That's who he flew. Michael Douglas and Catherine Zeta-Jones. Yeah.
Okay.
So, Tim, I know you're an avid reader. Is there a book, a podcast, an app, or a website that has helped you in your career or your personal life, and why?
Boy, there's so many of them, but I think the one that a couple of years ago, I had 2 different business leaders who I met with mention a book to me. And the second one actually gave me a copy because he keeps a big shelf full of them. And we ended up, not only did I read it, I then had our leadership team read it, and then we executed a full training program all around this book, and it's called Extreme Ownership.
Oh, yeah.
Extreme Ownership by Jocko Willink and Leif Babin, 2 Navy SEALs. And, it's such a great book that, intertwines these military leadership stories with business stories and the principles that are behind both. And what's kind of a cool, funny story about that is we did this big training program, 3 days, took all of our managers through it. They all loved it. Everybody had to read the book and come prepared to talk about it. We had activities built around it, all themed around extreme ownership. And then about a month later, one of our managers up in Farmington, Maine, had started to listen to Jocko Willink's podcast because he has a regular podcast where he talks about this stuff. And he heard that Jocko was an investor in a company in Maine. And so there's this company in Farmington, Maine called Origin Maine.
Oh, yeah, I know of it. Yeah.
So Jocko is like one of the major owners of that business. And our manager who was running the Farmington store heard that podcast and immediately that day at lunchtime drove over to this building, Origin Maine. And the person there said, hey, can I help you? And he said, oh, I came over to just see this business. I've been listening to Jocko's podcast. And the guy says, well, come back tomorrow and he'll be here. And so our manager showed up the next day in his VIP blue shirt, and he's got his copy of his Extreme Ownership book. And he walks into Origin, Maine, and there Jocko Willink is sitting there in a pair of blue jeans and a T-shirt. And he sits there and just talks for about an hour with our manager, just telling him, our manager was talking about how this book has really changed how we view leadership and everything. And Jocko loved it. And they just traded stories for like an hour. It's just awesome that somebody like that, just the timing of that we execute this big training program around the book, and a month later, one of our managers is meeting him up in Farmington, Maine.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
See, that's just an example of like relationship building, and kudos to your manager for like having the chutzpah to, get in his vehicle and go over there, like, not being shy and say,
Yeah.
oh, he would. Yeah. So that's a man after my own heart right there.
Yeah, no,
That's
and
great.
I just think that so much of what's in that book, that take ownership, take the initiative, like you just said about this kid. He wasn't bashful about, he just drove over there, and that's what so much of the ownership examples and principles are about, is not letting things get in your way, finding a way to get around any barriers.
Yeah, I love that. That's awesome. I actually think I've taken that book out of the library, but I'm not sure I read it. So I think I'll buy it from Amazon and read it myself.
It's a good one.
And I definitely have heard of that company, because I know that they're sort of like tucked away up there in Franklin County, Maine, but
Yeah,
they're,
yeah, and they're expanding their products. I mean, they sell all kinds of, I think, workout type stuff, and there's some jujitsu influences there. But now they're making jeans, they're making boots, and it's all origin Maine. It's all made right there in Maine.
yep. Jeans is what came to mind, kind of like not Carhartt, but
Yeah, yeah, that kind of spirit. Yeah,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's great. I think I need to get those guys on my podcast to talk about how they've built their brand up in
yeah, that
Farmington,
would
Maine.
be that would be a good one. Yeah.
That's great. So, Tim, how can people get in touch with you? I know they're going to want to link up with you after this. So, is LinkedIn the best way?
LinkedIn is a great way. I've got my profile on LinkedIn, and I use messaging on LinkedIn quite often, and I keep track of that. That's really my primary social media channel. I've also got my email address, which is twinkler@vipauto.com. And, I welcome anybody who wants to communicate via email as well. And if you want to learn more about the VIP story itself, you can always go to vipauto.com, because, we've got a lot of our branding, messaging, and features on a lot of our people on our website as well. There's a Meet Your Mechanic section with stories about a lot of our master technicians. So, there's several ways, and I welcome any communication and anybody who has a question. And even if you're a former VIP customer and you had some kind of service experience, I want to hear those stories too, because anytime there's somebody who interacts with the brand, we love getting feedback, good, bad, or indifferent.
Well, thanks for that, Tim. And I want to give a shout out to Lynn Campbell, who's your director of marketing, because she's just awesome to work with, and she's so organized and on top of things, and very nice to work with. So I really enjoyed getting to know her as well as you. And you definitely exemplify those 3 E's: energy, excitement, and enthusiasm. So thank you for that.
Absolutely. No, I'm going to take that away. I'm going to write those 3 E's down myself on my desk now.
Yeah. Okay, good. Maybe we'll ask Emma in my office to make us a little graphic of that.
There you go.
We can put it in the show notes. All right, Tim. Well, I really enjoyed this, and I look forward to continuing to work with you. And Father's Day weekend, we'll be out there sweating it away on the road.
We're going to do it 180 miles in 3 days. And all you listeners, you need to strap on your bike shoes, get out your cycle, and come join us.
Yeah, right. And actually, you don't need to be an Olympic athlete to do it. I mean, I am not an Olympic athlete. I just have a lot of tenacity. So you just have to keep going. And but you have a whole day to ride 60 miles. So
And you get to drink a beer at the end of the day, right?
Oh yeah, or 2. That's what I'm thinking of the whole time I'm riding. Well, have a great day, Tim, and have a great day, PR Maven Nation.
Thanks, Nancy.
Thank you. Thanks for listening to this episode of the PR Maven Podcast. I invite you to share a review of the podcast on iTunes or your favorite podcast player. Be sure to subscribe to our podcast so you never miss an episode. You can also join the PR Maven Nation on Facebook. It's free to join, and it's a great community of like-minded individuals who are all looking to learn and grow from one another. If you use an Alexa device, use your Alexa app to search the Skills and Games section to find and enable the PR Maven Podcast Flash Briefing. This will give you access to exclusive content and more PR and marketing advice. Thanks again for listening, and have a great rest of your week, PR Maven Nation.